name is Deirdre O'Riordan, and I was club secretary and club captain of the Women's Hockey Club during my time at Glasgow University. I graduated uni in June 2023 with a bachelor's in neuroscience, and I'm currently a part of a project management graduate training program in a construction consultancy firm called Gardner and Theobald. When I was elected as club captain, one of the initiatives I put in place was changing the selection process of trials at the start of the year. When I was in first year, this was quite inefficient, and it meant that a lot of women slipped through, and there had to be a lot of changes to the teams after the process, which was quite lengthy for the captains and also for all the women in the club. I decided to streamline this, and I created selection sheets which had the women's name, bib, team color, and a little bit about them. All the captains had this at the start of the session, and it meant that it was very clear who you were, what position you played, what team you were in, and what your bib number is. So it was very clear who the captain were looking at and who they would decide to pick for their team. This meant after the whole process, it was a lot better. The feedback we got from all the women in the club was that they felt like it worked a lot better. We also went from around 30 changes that happened in my first year and second and third year to only under 10 in the end at the very end of it. So meant that in general, everyone was a lot happier with the selection process. We had a lot less changes, and it just meant that things were done quite a lot more quickly and people were able to settle into their teams a lot quicker. I believe the documents were all on, we have a Google Drive, and they were all on that drive. So the templates were used can just be adjusted, and I believe they took that on this year. So it was a successful implementation, and hopefully the documents I created will now be used for future years and can just be changed a little bit and made to work even better. But the standards are there now, and hopefully they'll be used from now on. So the company I work for, it was a very competitive graduate program when I was applying, and a lot of the other people applying and a lot of other selected candidates do have construction background, which I don't. I come from a neuroscience background. And so what I believe made me stand out and made me successful in the program was the fact that I had so much experience to draw on. I didn't have the experience technically from in construction itself, but I had the experience that was transferable from my time as club captain and club secretary. I almost exclusively talked about my time as club captain and secretary in the interview process. So there was a phone interview and I gave examples in there. There was an assessment center, which I was able to use the things I'd done in the club, the admin side of things I'd done when emailing external clubs and external people like UofG Sport or Scottish Hockey. I was able to use examples from there. And then also my final interview, when asked about scenarios of what would you do in this instant, I was able to pull directly from things that I had done as club captain of the hockey club and how I had dealt with certain situations. So whether that was conflict within the club, resolving any disputes, or even things like managing pitch times or managing game times or things outside with other clubs, other teams, other associations. I was able to draw from all these experience and talk about it in my interviews and how I would then use those in the workplace. I would say hands down being involved in the club from that higher level as a club secretary and club captain was one of the best decisions I made during my time at university. It helped me not only socially, so some of the people I've met in the club are still my friends to this day, but also in terms of the skills I was able to build on and develop during my time. It has also helped me with my professional skills, I'd say. So the way that you come across in emails or speaking in AGMs or meetings or having meetings with other associations has also helped me bring forward my professional skills in the workplace, in meetings in general, whether that's within my team or with contractors, with clients, with consultants. I definitely have that professional aspect to things that I don't think I would have had straight out of uni without that experience. My teamwork skills progressed immensely. I was working with a huge variety of people, from people my own age, from people within different clubs throughout the university, and also people older adults in other associations. So my teamwork skills progressed immensely, because I'd 100% say that being club captain and secretary, like, definitely I think got me these graduate programs, because besides that, I didn't have my degree at the time, so I didn't have my results, and I only had like 1 month experience elsewhere in a professional firm. So I definitely think having this helped. And if I can push more people to become involved, I would hands down do it. Having that like I'm not saying that you couldn't do it if you didn't have that experience, but it's made the transition easier. The transition into working life is a lot easier because you were kind of almost working a job as you were working those roles.